Alberta, we have these panels called the Alberta Next panels, and it's sort of to decide what we do next as a province, and how we fight back against the overreach of the federal government. But and we'll get to it later, the lefties have been mobbing the mic, and it has a very strong Matt Walsh takes on lefty lunatics vibes, where they get to the mic and they think they're really going to show Danielle Smith, and then she just like smacks him. I'll show you that in a second. Or toward that's the Daily Cringe today. But and I'm here for it. I just watch every successive one of them think that I'm gonna be the one that gets her, and then she just drops an anvil on
She's too smart for them.
She's so sharp because you can tell she's thought about these issues.
Yes.
And yeah, just hammers, anvils on these people's heads all the time. It's comical, actually. But she's taking, and the other premiers should learn from this. She is going out there every night, just about, in cities and small towns all across the province, and just listening to people. They get to the mic, they ask questions, they talk about their concerns, and she's listening to them. This is what politicians are supposed to do. This is how you get a mandate from the people. You talk to them and they tell you what your mandate should be. You might want to try it sometime, other premiers. But she's at the Alberta Next town hall. And a grandmother says her grandchildren struggle to find jobs because Ottawa is favoring foreign workers. And this is what Smith has to say. Like, look at this panel. And they just sit, half the time they're taking real questions and the rest of the time they're taking abuse from lefty crazy people. But they do it every night. It's a real hard slog, but she's doing it. But let's listen to this.
Love it. I don't think it's a provincial issue. I think it's a federal issue, but it's really hard for my grandchildren to get jobs right now because federally, I believe the federal government is sponsoring the, not like you, ma'am, but the illegal immigrants, 50% minimum of their wages, and then the businesses pay the other 50%. So my grandchildren don't have a shot at getting a job because they're not financeable because they're Canadian. I don't know how to address that, but it's a frustration for a lot of us.
Right. It's right. I think it's a temporary foreign worker problem. So,
let me start by saying we're looking at those numbers too on youth unemployment, and they're alarming. When we are booming as an economy, our youth unemployment rate is always slightly higher than the general rate, but it gets normally down to 9 to 11%. It's at about 19 or 16% right now, and even higher in certain age groups. Young men, I think, age 24, we're up to a 19% unemployment rate. So it is a real problem. We think that we probably have to create some kind of incentive program to give young people that opportunity to have a first job. And so we've got some policy that we'll be rolling out next week to try to incentivize that. We are asking employers that it may have been in the past that it was easier to go through the temporary foreign worker process, that having an adult worker who's a little bit more mature, maybe able to work more hours, maybe that's been an advantage to a business, but we are cutting ourselves off. If we don't give that child, that kid, a first job, then they don't get their second job and their third job and their fourth job. So we've got to reset and make sure that our young people are taken care of and see those numbers come down. So I agree with you on that. We're going to try to put some policy in place for that. But to understand why people are connecting those two things is the federal government did change policy that in the past, between 2009 and 2019, so this was pre-COVID and this was under different governments, we were getting in about 0.6% of our population of international arrivals. So that's about 275,000 people a year. Last year it was 1.8 million. So you can see if you're seeing the pressure, you're seeing housing prices going up, you're seeing it hard to get rent, you're seeing it hard for the people in your immediate circle to get jobs. You're seeing crowded schools, you're seeing difficulty getting a doctor. These are why people are connecting those two things. Now, what happened in Alberta? If we were to get back to kind of a more normal level of population growth, it would probably be about 50,000 newcomers a year. Call it 1% of our population. We're now at 5 million, 50,000. In the last 3 years, we've had 450,000 come here. So that is I don't think any of us anticipated there'd be that kind of movement, but none of us knew that all of the limitations would be taken off. The temporary foreign worker program, international students, reunification, asylum seekers. The one area where we know that we need newcomers is in the economic categories, having an employment-driven immigration policy like we used to,
Right.
and the federal government has shrunk those areas. That's also why we have fewer abilities to nominate people to the provincial nominee program. So that's what we're talking about. So let's get back to a more normal level of immigration, and then let's have Alberta take more of a lead like we see in Quebec so that we can offer jobs to economic migrants in those areas where we know we don't have local workers to be able to fill them. And that should be able to solve the dual problem. That's what we're talking about tonight. It's a little bit more like what Quebec does.
Thank you, Premier.
You know
I
what,
see
Sheila?
Stephen Buffalo beside her is agreeing with her. He's
Amazing.
I just want to point out, not a single thing she said was wrong there.
Yep.
But how smart is she? She knows the numbers right down to the demographics and the minutia, and then the change over time. There's like, that's a person who has severely thought about the impact of unconstrained immigration on her province while she simultaneously thinks about everything else. It would be nice to see another premier who had that sort of economic wherewithal.
Well, Sheila, you were obviously paying attention because I am someone who is so easily distracted. I was fixated on that ruby red Tim Hortons cup in front of the Premier. Who do you think was behind the counter when Premier Smith picked up her
sure.
Java? That's what I want to know. But I digress.
Yeah, I would love to see Alberta say, we don't care what the feds are doing. You don't get the employer top up in Alberta. You have to hire an Albertan first. And if you can't, then we'll talk. But I would love to see them say, we don't do labor market assessments here. Sorry. You want to do that? Go to BC. I don't know.
Be seeing ya.